Hi, welcome to another expression from the heart. Today, my heart wants to express something that I feel like is tricky territory. So, I'm going to try my best to articulate my personal truth and discoveries as best as I can. And I'm getting the intuitive hit to call this video gender reveal because this all stems from my baby and being asked to have an ultrasound and to see the gender of my baby. And that brought up a lot for me. It brought up a lot. This baby is already helping me learn and grow in so many ways. And they're not even actually like outside of my womb yet. So I can just imagine all of the things I'm going to continue to learn on this journey that is motherhood. Everybody kept asking me, like, do you want to know the gender of your baby? And forever, I always thought that I wouldn't want to. So that's why it's always interesting. Like, we can always say, like, that we're going to do something in a future situation. And when it comes down to it, it's true that we never really know, like, what's going to happen, how we're going to react, what we're going to want in the moment, what we're going to feel called to do in the moment. And I find it interesting to see that in the end, in this case, I feel like I was really called to know the gender of this baby. And I'm already seeing why. I'm already seeing how finding out the sex of this baby, and that's the thing too, like I've just been like revisiting all of these questions around gender and sex, since like back in the day when I was like in university and I had like sexuality studies and I was first learning what like LGBT, I don't know if T was even in it at that point. Anyway, just like learning what all of this stuff meant and starting to like have my eyes opened up to like other possibilities and going through phases of re-examining what gender means to me, what my biological sex means to me, questions around like sexual preferences, orientation. I don't even know like what the technically like politically correct way to say that part of it is. But like just like questioning a lot around sexuality, starting to learn like what non-binary is now. Like back when I was in university, we weren't talking about that yet, not in my classes anyway. And so yeah, just like bringing up a lot of questions, and ultimately, especially right now in terms of this birth, like feeling a sense of like guilt, or like feeling like I can't be excited to know what sex this baby is. And I started to realize that I want to know the biological sex of this baby, and I want to be able to celebrate it. And I want to, of course, recognize that in knowing the biological sex of this baby, that it doesn't mean that they're going to have to conform to certain gender stereotypes or gender roles, and that they will be free to express themselves and their personality in whatever way that they want to. But that being said, I feel like this whole experience has just reconnected to me to my whole journey in reclaiming what being a woman means to me. Because some of you know that I'm currently in like a sex, love, and relationship coaching program, which is like really awesome. I'm like learning a lot in this space too, of course. When I joined that program, it's a woman's space. However, it is open to like non-binary people. And when I signed up, I had been going through this phase for a long time. When I signed up last summer, I registered as non-binary, and a part of me was like unconscious to that in a way, I guess, because I got a response from like the team of the program asking me if that they wanted to like really support like non-binary people in the program, and asking me to meet up with them to talk about it. And it just like really made me realize to what extent I had been falling into, I don't know, into something that like wasn't quite right. I mean, I've like really questioned my place and where I fit. And for a long time, like haven't felt like a woman. But that I feel more and more is because of the stereotypes that are put on like women in the way that they're supposed to be, because I had been having such a hard time connecting with other women for most of my life, because I felt like manly in a lot of ways. But I'm also like recognizing that that can also depend on like our culture and like where we're really from. Like, to be honest, I look at the small town that I'm from and see the women there now that I've been gone for so long, and I see how women are quite not everyone, but there is like this feeling of and I think it's to protect themselves, but women like become like hyper masculinized in a lot of ways in this space, and I really think it's to protect themselves. Like I didn't feel safe. I dressed as I wore men's clothing, and anyway, I don't feel like I need to go down that route necessarily, but it's just to say that like there's been a lot of questioning. There's been a lot of questioning on my part, where I stand, where I sit. I've identified as like bisexual, and even that, like I'm not even totally now like that. Now that I'm realizing through this whole experience of realizing that this is about me reclaiming what being a woman is and what a woman is to me, like reclaiming my biological sex and not identifying as non-binary. And that's what I ended up like saying in the program, that like, no, actually, when I signed up, I signed up as non-binary, and I had been filling out forms. Like, some forms like started offering options to like an in-between option, when you fill out forms for men and women. And I was starting to like check off that in-between option because I didn't want to be seen as a woman. I realized I didn't want to be categorized as a woman. I didn't want to be put in that box, or be treated poorly, I guess, is what it came down to. And I realized that at the end of the day, that's not helping me, and that's not helping women and women's rights. And in a way, it's like I'm erasing myself. And that's what I feel like is happening personally to women, especially when I learn more about trans activist movement and some of the things that are going on in those spaces. I found like so many amazing documentaries, really just getting into the heart of what's happening there. And it seems like it is quite controversial in some ways and very, very touchy for some people, and that there's so much confusion. But there are some brave voices coming out and speaking up about what it comes back to, for me anyway. And it's just recognizing our biological sex and accepting that reality instead of like going to extremes where we're really changing our bodies, cutting off our breasts or removing our wombs, because we are living in this patriarchal society that has stripped us and disconnected us from who we really are. And I really, that piece really, really breaks my heart. So I found out that I'm having a baby girl. And that scares the shit out of me, because I know how hard it is to be a woman in this patriarchal world. How much comes with that, but at the same time, I'm really emotional about this, actually. At the same time, I'm really honored and excited to be able to teach her all that I've learned about what being a woman can really be, and how beautiful it can be when we reclaim it on our own terms, outside of all the messed up things that have been taught to us about what being a woman is. She's kicking like crazy. I guess she's excited to come out and find out. I think that's it. My heart feels really tender. I think that's all that it really wants to share in this virtual space with you today. So thanks for listening. This has been a message from my heart to yours. I hope that it touched your heart. And I'll see you in another expression from the heart.